Hello, 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 everybody. I'm moving around here a little bit. Hopefully, everybody can hear me okay. Welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. So, getting ready here to do your full moon reading. Actually, excuse me, new moon reading in Taurus. And then we also have the solar eclipse. It's happening tomorrow, guys. It is really, really happening tomorrow. So I'm going to, for those of you that are probably going to watch this in a recording, because I'm doing it a little late in the day. It's been a little crazy day going on. Many of you know that we lost a family member, so this last month has been sort of a whirlwind. So it's been a busy day for me today. So what we're going to do, and for those that are brand new, how I'm going to work this is that we're going to go through a little bit of the summary of what the planets are doing as far as the moon, the sextiles, the trines, conjunctions, things of that. I'm just going to go through a summary. I'm not going to go into in depth like charts and things like that. And then we're going to go talk about, we're going to go into a reading after that. And because I do some numerology in this, you'll probably hear me talk about some numbers and everything like that. So you'll get a summary. And then we'll go into just a collective reading. There's a lot of energies coming up because of this solar eclipse happening. And that's going to be happening on the 30th, which is tomorrow. The full moon's going to happen in the morning and the solar eclipse a little bit later in the day. So we'll be able to see a lot of things really transpiring. Now, if you haven't watched the full moon video that I put out, I usually do a full moon and a new moon. And then I try to get your readings in between. It just hasn't happened this last month, and I apologize. But this will be fun because I really missed doing my readings. So let's get started. So if you watch my channel, you'll hear about 3 days before the new moon or full moon, which is new moon in this case. I'm going to talk about 3 days before because the energies are hyping up and the planets are moving. Planets are actually either slowing down, and that turns into a retrograde, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we also have planets that are speeding up. So we're going to see what those energies are going to bring for you and your sign. A lot of the times, if you really study astrology, even a little bit, you will sit there and one day think, well, why do I feel this way? And it's like, the planets and actually the energies from the planets can actually show you why you are feeling what you're doing, or the people that are reacting around you, or maybe it's really intense. A lot of that has to do to the energies and the signs that the planets are working with. All right. So like we're going to talk about the 27th, 28th, 29th. Not so much about the 27th, but everything starts hyping up around the 27th because we got a lot of planets that are moving. We've got several planets that are going to be going into retrograde. So what that means is that things, when a planet goes into retrograde, that means that it slows down. It slows down and it becomes very, very powerful. So whatever that planet sign is, whatever um, uh, area that it's in and what they're doing as far as like sextiling or trining or half square, whatever they're doing, that energy intensifies so much. It's just like, okay, now that's why. And it depends on the sign that they're in. We're in the sign of Taurus for the new moon. Okay, so there's a lot of different things happening with that because we've got Mercury and Jupiter. And here's the thing, so the 26th and the 27th, the moon started lining up with Venus, Neptune, Jupiter, and Mercury. So what that did was that began to intensify things a little bit more, but it also, if you think about yesterday and the day before, big ideas, big opportunities, there might have been like, oh yeah, there's potential for this or potential for that, or a person, a relationship kind of a thing, because Mercury, it was trining also with Pluto. Okay, so it's sort of like this energy wants to move, but it's just staying where it is right at the moment because of so many energies bouncing off of each other with the planets that are happening. We've got also Pluto becomes just a little bit delusional. I mean, it's sort of misleading. It's sort of like this energy, and this is going to go from the 27th to the 28th, which we're already past. So think about your mindset for a minute to see if this really, really actually happened with you or not. is that when you begin to look at something and see, you think, oh, wow, this is a really good thing. But then if you step back, it might not have been. So it's sort of like when you go into a new relationship, you think, oh, wow, this is going to be really good. But the more you learn about the person, it's like, man, what was I thinking? That kind of a thing. That's the energy between Venus as it catches up with Jupiter. This is the energy that's going to be happening for the next couple of days. It's sort of like looking at, and then I would watch this through the 30th, through the full moon, and into May. Okay, these are energies that are going to be taking in for the next couple of weeks. So when I'm talking about things that looking like not what it seems, you actually get things distorted. So as I used to scuba dive for many years, and I also, you would go down in the ocean. And another astrologer had the same experience, and he shares it on his channel as well. But it is very, very true. You go down there, you see something really, really beautiful, you bring it up, and it is like that. It's like, what happened? It's because it wasn't really what it seemed. It was just the sun, excuse me, the sun and the water hitting the angles of that kind of a thing to make it really beautiful and colorful. But you bring it up and it's just sort of like, blah. Okay. So that's sort of what's going on. So really be careful in these next weeks to really pay attention to the facts about either a relationship, a job, or whatever. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Really do your research in your thought process into it, because we're looking at more of a Libra energy here. Libra's an earth energy, but also too we got Venus, which is a physical energy, which was more of a touchy-feely kind of thing. We've got Neptune with imagination playing around in there too. We've got some squares going on in there. So you just really want to be mindful that it's not an imagination, it's not something that you're making up yourself, and really looking versus the reality of the situation. That is going to be a really big key for you guys for the next couple of weeks. Really not getting pulled into something that or manipulated into something that maybe you really shouldn't go there. And as you guys watch me as an intuitive coach, as well as my tarot and everything I do is intuitive, and I listen to spirit very, very highly. You really, really want to listen to what that intuition is telling you, what that gut feeling is telling you, because that's going to keep you safe and on track and focused. Because there is going to be a lot of distractions coming up for the next couple of weeks, and your focus is going to be really have to be right on target, because we've got on the 27th also Neptune's playing around, which is the planet of confusion and illusion. Okay, so you really have to know what's reality and what's not. Okay, we had this a couple months ago with one of the readings. I can't remember which one. But you really have to focus in on your consciousness. It's sort of like your subconscious wants to kick in there, but you've really got to stay conscious on what you're thinking and what you're doing. Because we've got Jupiter, Neptune, Venus, and Mars. They're all moving into Pisces. Okay, so again, we have them over here with the moon, Venus, Neptune, Jupiter, and Mercury actually catching up with the moon, aligning with the moon. So we've got now Pisces energy, and we've got also Libra energy a little bit, but that Taurus energy is also there strong. So you got to realize when we're looking at not only a new moon and a full moon, we've got to see what the planets are doing around it, because it's interacting, and usually the sun opposes the moon, and that's where that solar eclipse comes in. And that is going to be extremely dynamic. What happens when that solar eclipse comes in on that new moon? It heightens everything. It explodes the energies even 10 times stronger. So you've got to realize on the 30th, when we have that new moon, treat it like a full moon, because it's going to explode in all these different energies. So whatever, it's almost like, I hate to even say this, but if you drink too much, whatever emotion you were feeling before you were drinking, you're going to explode it even more when you drink. So if you were really sad before and you start drinking a lot of the times, not all the time, but a lot of the times, you will be tenfold that. It's like you become depressed, you'll be crying. It's like the woe is me, that kind of a thing. But if you're happy drunk, then you become extremely happy and fun and flaring and all that kind of stuff. So really, really be mindful. This is a time where you really want to think about that. The moon, let's see, no, we're going to talk about Mercury trines with Pluto on the 27th, 28th. That was yesterday. We are going to have from this time forward, also because of Mercury trining with Pluto, that feelings are going to really run deep. It's like you're going to be deep in thought, or something's going to be happening that you're really thinking deep about something. But this doesn't mean it's a bad thing. This is like a good thing. Okay, I really should think about our future together. I really should think about what's happening at my workplace. Sort of evaluating, getting that Virgo energy in there a little bit, but really focusing in on that. And Pluto's moving into a retrograde the 29th today. Isn't that lovely? Um, well, what it means is that all these other planets, Pluto's the start of the retrogrades, guys, because we've got several planets going into retrograde. Okay, but Pluto is the type of planet that deconstructs. So it's like death versus birth, finishing and something beginning. So Pluto is the one that breaks it apart, and then there's other planets that pull things together. So one of the things to remember though in this is that on the 29th and the 30th, it's going to be confusing because things are beginning to end and other things are beginning to start. So it might be an end of an old chapter for you, whatever that is, maybe an old job, an old relationship, or you know what, saying, hey, we just don't meet eye to eye. Let's separate, let's move on. Or let's just be civil and friends, that kind of a thing. Maybe you do better as friends than you do as lovers or partners, or that kind of a thing. Because this is a time to deconstruct. It's sort of like how you look at a caterpillar. It has to go through phases. Thank you. It has to go through phases, and that those phases have to, and they're not a bad thing. That's where this deep concentration, this you're really thinking deeper, you're going deeper, is that it's a good thing because you have to go through these phases, and that's what Pluto's doing on the 29th. And then the sun square half squares Neptune again on the 29th. So it creates a confusing. It's sort of like when you when you go through puberty, it's very confusing because your body's changing. You don't understand what's happening. For girls, they start the period. For boys, their voice lowers, their hair begins to grow, that kind of a thing. It's a sort of a confusing stage. So this is a phase where there's good opportunity if you're really focusing in on something, but it's also too because of what the sun half squaring Neptune, it's going to feel like a little distorted. It's like like I go back to the caterpillar and the butterfly. You're going through that cocoon phase where you go caterpillar, cocoon, and butterfly, or is it the other way around? I don't remember. I think it's caterpillar, cocoon, and butterfly. But the thing is that you're going through those phases for a good thing, and something beautiful comes out at the end. So remember that it can be exciting and frightening at the same time, because the moon is moving into Taurus and Mercury is moving into Gemini. So that creates more of that excitement, that sort of adrenaline, but it also creates a little frightening. Like, it's exciting. It's like when somebody asks you to marry them, you're all excited, but then you really think about it and it's like, oh my gosh, we're going to get married. We're going to live together. We're going to be together for the rest of our life. It's a little frightening to make that big commitment, right? So look at those kind of things. And again, then on the 30th, which is tomorrow, new moon, big solar eclipse. The solar eclipse is going to happen about 1:28 in the afternoon, and the new moon is going to happen at about 10 o'clock, I think 10:28 in the morning. This is Pacific Coast time in the United States. So this is going to set the tone for the month, not only for the end of, on the 30th, but it's going to set not only the time for the month, but it's going to for months ahead. Why? Is because it's in Taurus for one, and we've got, again, we're going back to these planets retrograding. We've got Pluto starting the retrograde, but then look at this. We've got Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter, Chiron, and one by one they're going to be going retrograde. They're actually going to be becoming more powerful. So pay attention to those retrogrades, because then that will help you understand what's going on in your life as well. But for the foremost is that for the future, for the month of May, there's going to be a lot of stability, trying to find the simple things, trying to find something that keeps life stable, trying to keep your job stable, keep the calm, keep the peace, keep everything like that. And it's also a time to be really careful, because of that stability. You're trying to grow that foundation, that stability. You're trying to figure out what seed you want to plant. Okay. So it's a time to plant seeds that you know are going to grow into a healthy whatever. So this is a time where you're going to like stay away from toxic people and plant the seed to be around somebody who's positive. It's sort of looking into a garden and knowing you've got a garden and you've got all these seeds, but you're like, oh man, I only have this much space. What seeds will actually I know that are going to grow and are going to prosper and give me vegetables? So you're going to not do the ones that you're sort of iffy with, but you're going to do those nice stable seeds that are going to grow like tomatoes. Those will just sprout up and start doing tomatoes like no tomorrow. You're going to plant those seeds, and that whether that seed is at your work, in your friendship, at your home, with your partner, with your family, whatever it is. So really be mindful what you are putting. So if you're thinking, thank you. So they want me to mention, if you're thinking negative and you're planting that seed and you carry that into the month of May, you're going to carry it for a month. If you plan that you're just bitter and angry, those are seeds that you're planting, and this is where I'm getting at, and you're going to be bitter and angry for months. This is where the transformation time comes in. That caterpillar time comes in, because now you're going from the caterpillar into the cocoon. So if you want to go back to the garden thing, you're going from the seed in the little baggie into the earth, and then now you're being planted, and that is going to set. Are you going to water the Are you going to water the soil? Are you going to feed the soil? Are you going to cultivate the soil so that it grows up nice and solid? That all depends on you. When it goes into the ground or it goes into the cocoon, what are you going to do to make it move forward positive for your life? And whatever you want to do, your relationships, if you're fighting a lot, you're going to keep that fighting going. That you don't need to fight in relationships. You don't even need to argue in relationships, because a lot of people fight over the small stuff. And the reason why I say that is, if you can't take it with you, it doesn't matter. Okay, if you can't take love, the things that you can take is love, compassion, integrity, character, memories. Everything else doesn't matter. If it has to deal with money, it has to deal with all this earth crap, you can't take it, and it doesn't matter. Spirit, it doesn't care about all this stuff down here. It does care about where your integrity, where your character is, and what you're doing to promote that love through you. Okay, I'm not going to go into that, but anyway, definitely where you planting that seeds. This is the solar eclipse. This is the new moon. Okay, this is the dynamic energy that I would say, if you're going to take anything away from this, is to take that away. What are you planting for the month of May? Because it's going to carry through June, July, and August at least. Okay, so really, really to do that. The other thing too with the new moon, it's conjuncting with Uranus at the same time as the solar eclipse. So fundamental changes, again, things that are happening, structural changes may be happening, unexpected energies that may be popping up all of a sudden, maybe some things that you're going through, and something just sort of like a trigger, and it could be good things. These don't have to be negative things. See, that's where your mindset is. Where is your mindset? That's why my other channel is called Transformation by Divine, is that it's a transformation process where your mindset goes. If your mindset goes to the negative, if your mindset goes to all the negative things that do with that, then that needs to be a transformation. Again, these seeds you're going to plant and you're going to carry them on. Not healthy, and also draining to you and draining to people around you. Okay. There's also a half square with this new moon, half square with Jupiter and Venus. Okay, so these are powerful, sweet. They're sort of like sweet and bountiful energies. But you got to be careful, because when these energies come in, say you're going to go and have a dinner, a really nice dinner, you didn't expect it, a really place you wanted to go to eat, and you have your full menu, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to have this as my entree, but then I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and you get it all, and it's too much. This is too much energy. This is the half square Jupiter Venus energy. We have to say, okay, I want this, or I want this relationship, or I want to do something, but don't go too far overboard. That is what I'm trying to say. You go too far overboard, then it sort of cancels out the good of it, you know? It's like if you were to go to the theme park all the time, it doesn't become as much fun as if you just went once, maybe a year or twice a year, then you can really enjoy it. Okay. Too much is not too good. Okay. And then the last thing is that sextile, the moon sextiling Mars. Okay. Um, that when the moon sextiles with Mars, it has to do a lot with staying on track, staying focused, staying where you want to go. Again, planting that seed and knowing where you want to go and staying focused in on that. So if you want to focus in on a relationship or somebody that way, you want to focus in on the positive things of it. You want to focus on those seeds of doing positive things in that relationship. Also too, to know what you want and know what you like. So this energy, in summary, is a lot of things coming up, but there's a lot of ending, deconstruction, and even in our system in the United States, as far as our government, we're still deconstructing and that Pluto energy, but we're actually starting to build new things, and things are starting to change and turn around and come up. All right. So that's where that is. All right. I'm sorry, my table is just getting nasty because of my leather work. We're trying to find a bigger house because I'm just running out of too much space, and I want my old office. So, anyway. So what I'm going to do now, for those of you that are brand new, thank you for getting this far. Definitely. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a reading. I am going to do this deck here is the Divine's card. This is Spirit. This is who I go to first and foremost. I am going to get the energies for what's going on now with this new moon. I've already done my prayers. I've already, trust me, Divine's already been talking to me. So definitely focus in on the now of what is going on. Don't think so far out to the future, because, excuse me, that could be an illusion or a change coming. There is new change coming with, I can't remember which planet. I didn't go through all the planets and what was going on, but in one of the sextiles, new change is coming. It's so if you're going to feel, if there is going to be a feel, I think that, I don't think it's with Mars, but you're going to feel like there's something coming up. Like, gosh, I just feel like something's coming and I just don't know what it is. That's one of the planets they're sextiling with. Definitely coming up. So if you've got some new things coming up and you feel like a unsettling energy, that's very, very typical. All right. All right. So this is going to be pretty much the universe and what's going on in force. Oh yeah, totally. Totally get it. And so when I go through my reading, if you hear me say thank you, that I am getting downloads from, or plop thoughts. I call them plop thoughts when they give me a thought, from divine, or the other side, or the angelic realm. And people say, who are you talking to? Well, there's the 3 in 1. So divine is 3 in 1. So I don't know who I'm talking to because they're all in one. I just know who I'm talking to. Has never let me down, has never changed, has always been consistent. Where are these going? So here we go. All right. So the current energy right now that the divine is trying to share with you, and this goes in play with a lot of what we were just talking about, is the Grand Symphony. Now, the Grand Symphony is the number 9 in the numerology, or in this oracle deck. And in the number 9, that means something's coming almost to completion. It's not quite there. There's a lot of hard work that went into it. Remember, I talked about the conscious mind and the subconscious. When we get deep and start thinking deep, that's when our subconscious starts to bring things up and bring it to our conscious. Sort of like when I talk about like my sexual abuse and that, you don't know why you do the things that you do, but if you start to dig really deep to the roots, then you can really see. Yeah, I always admit I was really messed up and twisted, making the wrong decisions most of my life because I didn't get to the root. I didn't get to the deep. Okay. So again, you have to get to the deep, the conscious mind, to end something or heal from something and then move forward. I don't know who that's for. I have no idea who that's for. So this is definitely something that you want to really pay attention to, bring to the forefront, because the number 9 is also about intensity, bringing something up forward. It also means that something can be almost finished, almost to a completion. It also can mean about healing. It could also mean about bringing that. Now, the why he picks the symphony, the divine picks the symphony, the Grand Symphony, because there's several instruments in a symphony, and you're one of those instruments. So we have all these instruments coming together to make a beautiful sound. Now, this could be your relationship, this could be your family, this could be friends. There could be a kerfuffle going on. It's not beautiful. It's like when the conductor, before the conductor starts doing the symphony, it is like they're tuning up, they're warming up, they're doing all kinds of stuff, and it sounds horrible. Okay. And that might be some relationships. You're fighting, you're arguing, you're not seeing eye to eye. That is communication. I'll tell you right now, you're missing the boat on communicating. You might be just right there, but you're missing each other. And if you get your communication down, which I do teach in coaching, and then that brings things together so that you hear and listen to each other, not just hear. So it makes a big difference. So when you do hear each other and listen to each other and pay attention to what each other's saying and understanding each other's perspective, that symphony comes together, the conductor makes it, and that beautiful music begins. So I don't know who that's for either, but this next couple of weeks or almost month is going to be like that. So you as an individual, whatever instrument you want to be, whatever your partner wants to be, you play it. And are those instruments melding together in harmony, or are they bickering and fighting and just a lot of noise? Not sure who that's for. Okay. And then we have, let's see, the talisman, which is about finding your way. Again, really focusing in on those planetary energies. Oh, let me see. I closed my book. I have to have notes. I'm sorry, but there's too many planets not to have notes. I have to have notes. Sorry, but I do. Let's see. The fundamental change when Moon does the conjunction with Uranus, and it also with the solar eclipse, definitely. The talisman, we have 9. So we have the number 4. We're looking for foundations. Okay. This is the foundation. Again, remember, we're going back to the seed or the cocoon, the caterpillar to the cocoon. This is that foundation. And you may have started your journey down the path, but that journey is not going to be straight. So you're really going to have to remind yourself to stay focused and not be distracted. There is definitely some distraction coming, and it's going to come off to the side. It's sort of going to come out of nowhere. Okay, is what I'm seeing. I don't know who that's for either. It's interesting. It's interesting when you get downloads and you pay attention to what they want to share. That's why I'm so beat. I can't do more than 3 or 4 readings a day because mentally, my chakras are just worn out. Especially, my third eye and my crown chakra, because I try to keep them wide open with allowing light and love into it and listening to the downloads. But I still got to keep my bubble up as an empath to not let any dark energies come in too. It's my brain and my body's a very interesting. Okay, so here we go, guys. So we have it. So this is okay. So there is going to be, and I'm going to share with you. I'm going to look at one side as maybe you, and then the other side as another person, or it could be a job, or it could be something else. 7. Okay, somebody is actually going through a bunch of pain. I think this is the other person. Or maybe this is a friend coming to you with a lot of pain. This is definitely a cocooning time where you're going to have to go and heal. You have to get better, that kind of a thing. And the reason why I say that is because we have the 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups being, a partnership. It also could be a unity. The 2 is this doesn't say that it is love. I think the reason why for somebody, they're not allowing themselves to heal properly. Okay. For somebody, they're wanting to get into this relationship and the opportunities are coming, or they're there. However, I think the relationship is looking at, now this could be not only a relationship with a lover or a friend or whatever, but somebody's holding back their opportunities for themselves. And that again is another thing with the planets that we're coming in with this solar eclipse. Definitely on the 27th that started. Okay, that started. Remember the illusion versus reality. Sometimes we get into our own head and we see something and we even think about it and see the outcome when you don't even know what the outcome is. So if you're in a negative thought process or a negative mindset, you're going to think of a negative outcome. Whereas if you're in a positive mindset, you'll think of the positive. It'll come out more of a positive. Does it always happen that way? No. However, the chances are, because of your mindset and the way that you think, and you're projecting those energies and you're projecting that mind process thought, and this is energy that is moving out. I won't go into auras and things like that, but you can expand your auras or you can bring them in. So if you're negative, your auras are here. You want to really expand and love and all that kind of stuff. But somebody's auras are just like, it's either one, they haven't healed, they haven't gotten through their past, they haven't gotten through um, things of that nature. Also, too, it could be that they have low self-esteem. They believed what other people were telling them rather than believing in themselves. This is an opportunity for that growth because we have the Two of Cups, we have the Eight of Swords, and then we have the Queen of Swords. Okay, you got all about truth here. So somebody is not believing the truth, which again, here we go with that, where the magician may pop up, is where you're getting that illusion versus reality. Whatever you're thinking is probably not real. So, like if you were to say, oh, I'm so ugly or I'm so fat, fat is a good thing. I'm sorry, guys, but working in nutrition and fitness, a lot of people, but when you eat in excessive and become excessively fat, that is definitely dangerous. However, people, I say I'm fat. People are like, oh, how could you say that? Because fat is fat. It's real. It's, you got to understand what fat does and why you have it and all that kind of stuff. And it is what it is. I love my body. I love myself. I never did used to when I was being sexually abused. I used to be called fat, so lard butt, ugly, all kinds of horrible things. And I began to believe them. Whatever this reading is, that this is for somebody. There's an opportunity for change. There's an opportunity for growth. There's an opportunity to give and release some of that energy. Definitely there. So somebody is actually going through something, either trauma, PTSD, and maybe anxiety or depression because of something that had happened. But the opportunity here is to change, because your challenge card is your Three of Swords. Three of Swords is about heartbreak and acknowledging it and things of that nature. Somebody wants to deny it. Don't deny the pain. Don't deny it. Unfortunately, with the planets that are going on, and I talked about being conscious with this new moon, this is where the consciousness helps, and again, I have those 3 videos out on healing, surviving, healing, and living with sexual abuse. Maybe something that is good for somebody. However, there is some type of pain that is being held. Remember I said that energy, what was it, where the energy is going to stay here, it's not going to move. Okay, so on the 27th, those energies began to intensify, and that was the sextiles of Pluto, Mercury, and Pluto and Mercury and the Moon. So that is that it's intensifying, it's staying where it's at, and this energy is going to stay until you do something about it. So this is something that you have to do. Now there is opportunity for you. You got the Seven of Cups and the Six of Pentacles. Okay. Again, this is, but at the center of this, come back to those, but at the center of this, guys, the center of your reading is strength. And that definitely takes courage and strength to actually bring to your conscious mind and say, okay, I want to plant this seed positive. I want to plant me move forward. I'm going to, get rid of so-and-so who's toxic. They're always negative. They're always complaining. They're always moaning and groaning. They don't do anything for me other than bring me anxiety or depression. Those people need to go away. This is where that strength and courage in the center. This is where that strength and courage is to stop saying, okay, I need to stop these bad habits because I'm bringing them from the past. If you bring something from the past, it's going to move with you to the future. So if you have a fear of relationships or being hurt again, you're going to bring that to your new relationship. You got to learn how to let go and release. Again, let go and release. Okay? Because when you do that, you are blessed abundantly. All right. All right. Let me see what else we have here going on. I do have a slight cold, so if you hear me coughing or whatever, and I'll tell you right now, I talked to you guys through your readings about stress, and stress wears on your body very hard. It breaks down your immune system, and going through all this stress in the last month for us, I told you, it had broke down my immune system where I was at work, and then the next day I was sick. So somebody giving me their cold. All right. So the reason why I did that, I said the magician card was going to pop up. I can't make this stuff up, guys. The great thing about the magician is I love the magician card because you could be fooled, you could be manipulated, or you could actually look at what the magician is doing. He's got his rod pointed upward to spirit. And if you know anything about the rod, whether it be in the Quran or the Bible, wherever, it is the connection to spirit and divine. Okay. So it's sort of like something that you are connecting yourself. You are a lightning rod, even a lightning rod to bring light, those kind of things. It's a connection between two worlds. Okay. And that's what I love about the rod. Okay. And that's what your intuition is. Your intuition, when you talk to people who pray and meditate, why do they do that? Because that's their telephone between two dimensions. That is same as anything else. Okay. So we've got also too the Three of Cups, again, more acknowledging of a celebration. This is a celebration that somebody's going to get strong enough to plant the seed, to really move forward, to stay on their path, to bring that symphony. Okay, they're going to bring the symphony, and they're going to make harmony and not just some noise. Okay, prior to starting the beautiful song, that noise. Then the conductor, toot, 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 and then he's up and this beautiful noise. So communication, you guys, whatever this is for you guys, is going to bring you a lot. You're going to manifest and turn things completely around because this is the number one. Oops, sorry. The magician is number one. Remember, we are in a deconstruction and construction phase. We're right in the middle. Okay, things are beginning to be finally done. We're in the number 9. Okay, we're getting to the finally done, and we're getting ready for that to move into a new journey, a new phase. Okay, where you take that is going to be up to you. All right, you got the world. I can't make this stuff up. You have a lot of choices. You have the world. You have a lot of choices. That's where do you want to go? You can create your future to wherever you want to go. And fear will hold you back. Fear will definitely hold you back. And she's carrying 2 wands too. I love it. The world it's got 2 wands. Again, between 2 dimensions, if you listen to it. All right. So Knight of Wands. Again, more movement. You have to move. This is more communication, more talking. I'm going to say that somebody's in a relationship that's been sort of fighting, sort of struggling, and they're struggling about somebody's still living in the past, or they're comparing to an old boyfriend or an old girlfriend, and they just can't seem to break it. And the other person's feeling like, I'm just never going to win because I just don't know how to make this person happy. You can't make that person happy because you know what? They can't make themselves happy because they're living in the past. All right. They're living in the past, and you can't compare. When you start comparing, you've lost the game already. So if they're comparing, you might want to step back and say, hey, you know what? When you want to get over that, then definitely come back and see me, because you're in a not in a win-win situation. You're down a path that's going to be all over squiggly. Not going to be in a path. A lot of paths are going to have a turn or something like that, but the thing is that those are just little bumps. But when you I laugh because, and it's so sad. I mean, I've watched a couple of the things of the Johnny Depp stuff, and my daughter thinks I'm nuts, but those 2 people should have never ever been together. They both have been abused as kids. They both handled their ways of removing themselves from the PTSD and trauma differently, and you just had a mess waiting to happen. And they should have never been together. Should have never been together. And that's all I'm going to say about that. It's sad to watch. People don't need to get to that level. People, they just don't. Okay, so we got the King of Pentacles. Okay. King of Pentacles, 10 of Wands in reverse. And the Magician again. Okay. King of Pentacles is our first card out. So this is definitely about money and issues, and the burden has not been released. And there is something that you're waiting for. Be really, really careful about this, because if you're not moving your feet, this is about money. If you're not moving your feet, then you're not going to be able to, thank you. you're not going to be able to move forward in a positive manner. So what they were sharing with me is there's fear there. There's fear of mm, it's like you've already thought that, you're going to fail at something before you even started it. So if you don't, you're afraid that if you jump all in, that if it doesn't work out, then it's a failure. There's no such thing as fail, guys. There is nothing true about failure. There is, you made it an attempt, and there is a learning process. There is a lesson to be learned from everything that you do. It may not be the best thing. However, there is no such thing as failure. I don't believe in failure. Somebody can come at me and tell me that there is failure. No, there isn't. There is a lesson in everything that we go through, and that's why spirit allows something for us to go through, or is going to stop us from going through it, or is going to let us go through it and see why he did that. And that's the thing. That's the magic of the magician, is you need to pay attention. The illusion is your fear. Okay, the illusion is what's going to stop you. Again, we're looking at number one. This is a new thing. This is something new. It is scary. It's frightening. What planet was that, guys? What planet was that? That was the moon. Yeah, the moon was and Mercury. The Mercury and Moon were conjoining, and again, there's that exciting but frightening feeling that you want to move forward with. But this here is the King of Pentacles and has to do with money. So be really, really mindful. Here we go again, Knight of Pentacles in the Wheel of Fortune. So for somebody, the job is, or whatever your career, or whatever you're doing, you're feeling it's more of a burden to, it's like, I just can't get this off my mind. I just can't really figure this out. I really don't know what to do with this. You're spinning your own wheels more than what you should. You've got a lot of opportunity here, and you're holding back yourself. You're holding back yourself. So whatever that is, that, okay, let me put it this way. Thank you. They're saying if you have a passion for this, whatever it is, I don't know what this is for you, whether it is, but then we're talking about money or finances or things of that nature, career, school, that kind of thing. Whatever that is for you, whatever your passion is what you need to be going for. This is where your fear is coming in, and that is creating the burden. Okay, so how to get rid of the burden, or how to get rid of the stronghold, or how to get rid of the heaviness, is to reverse it. Simple as that. Reverse it. Oh, that's simple, right? Yeah, no, it isn't simple. It does take time. Again, going from that caterpillar to cocoon to a butterfly takes time. Problem is, some people are not patient. Okay, some people are not patient. All right. So I'm going to go and see if anybody's in a relationship. I'm going to get the reading for the other person. I want to see what's going on with this other person in your love relationship, or your friend relationship, or situationship, or whatever of that nature. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do the moon, and we'll call it a reading. This moon has really it's really got some interesting energies. Yesterday it was really again that disillusion, that little stressed, it's sort of like a stressed energy, like an uncertain energy. Today, same thing. It's almost like you want to just sort of get upset, right? And then you have to calm yourself down. And then something else starts to trigger, and you want to get upset about something, and you have to calm yourself down. It's that energy that's going on, right? Unexpected energies, yes. Okay, so let's see what's going on in the ooh. Gosh, that magician has popped up 3 times already. Who's ever got something that they're trying to pay it? I'm going to tell you from the numerology and this already, is whoever has something going on that they're really needing to figure out, am I being manipulated? Am I being used? Am I being, whatever? You're questioning and doubting something, you got to turn around and look at the facts. Okay, you really do. This is a time that that seed that you're planting needs to be the facts seed, okay? Because there is something going on with somebody that is definitely that, like we had talked earlier, where it looks like it doesn't. or it could be that was the 27th. That is the Libra energy. That is the spirit. That is also Neptune, that imagination energy of Neptune coming in. Okay. And that's that Libra earth energy versus the Venus spirit, and what is really real. It's almost like, you know what, I know he loves me. I know he loves me. And then you go out and it's like, yeah, you know, I'm sure that you love me. And he goes, well, we're not even dating. What are you talking about? So that's that, again, illusion of someone's mind thinking one thing when another person is thinking completely different. Talk communicate. Because we got the Ten of Swords again. We got the Ten of Swords, and then we had where'd it go? Ten of Swords, the Ten of Wands. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah, Ten of Wands in reverse. So the burden's still not there. I mean, it's still burden. So something is ending. Again, this deconstruction, this ending of something and a new something starting. This is definitely a time to finish something up at number 10 energy, but it's also the number 1. This is the number 9. We've seen the number 9 twice, I think, here. This is again to get your foundation down. The number 4, get your foundation down, get it on track, get that seed planted and be ready in May to water and cultivate and pick the weeds out, which are toxic people, things like that. Because you have the star in the middle of the magician again. So what you want to manifest, become. Okay, so if you want to become more understanding, you've got to understand the other person's perspective better. You've got to be a better listener. If you want to become more loving, then be more loving or ask the other person how they need to be loved. This is about relationships, guys. If somebody, you know, seems to get angry really easy, there is something much deeper about that. So maybe saying, hey, you know, and when you become vulnerable or somebody becomes vulnerable to you, then really take that at heart, because that is strength to become vulnerable to somebody. And that is to tell your heart, because when you take the guard down from your heart, then that builds that bond even closer. That makes that symphony harmony more. Okay, so I think this is your partner here. So maybe somebody's wanting to end something. Maybe something is, because you got the star side by side. So it's like somebody's torn where they want to end it, but they don't, kind of a thing. They want to move, but they need more facts, because they're not understanding what's going on. Thank you. So they're saying that the communication isn't matching up with the actions. Okay, so if the actions and the words don't match, something ain't right. So that again is getting down to that illusion versus facts. So if this is partnership or this love thing or whatever is going on, you want to make sure that you got your facts rather than the illusion, and that's communication. And that's by paying attention to the body language. Now, I do have a communication video, and also too, energy vampires. I really went into that about how energy vampires use nonverbal communication. We use that 67%. That's why I do these live. But I also, if you're going to do a reading with me or if you're going to do coaching with me, I need to see you, because I got to feel those energies, see that language, see that body language, see what the energies are going on around you, because 67% of your communication with your partners, your loved ones, your bosses, and everything is through body language. All right. So really pay attention to the actions more than the words. All right. Whoever this is. So something's going on that they're just like, it's almost that, I mean, what's that song? I keep on, what is that? Alicia Keys, I keep falling in and out of love, and you know, I've never felt this way before, blah blah blah. That's sort of that one, falling in and out and not sure how to feel. Okay. But this is a really good time to be bountiful to the emotions. Okay. All right. And because this is a collective, okay, thank you. Yeah, that's true. All right, thank you. So the third quarter moon, this is the moonology card. This is the adjustments are required. And what he is, what he was telling me is, yes, this is why I have the symphony card. He says adjustments need to be required in your instrument before you can harmonize with somebody else. So your instrument, you are the instrument. You have to adjust yourself before you can anybody help or do anybody or be with anybody and be a healthy thing. He says, so get your instrument in tune. He's so funny. It's like, okay, you need to heal. So whoever, so I don't know who this is for. So somebody wants to go into something and they're not ready. So he's saying, we're almost there. Just don't stop. Don't lose this distraction. Don't get distracted on me. I'm trying to help you get there. But if you get distracted, then we're going back to square one and we got to start all over again. So I just think that's really, really funny because the adjustments can be just a simple thank you. So he's saying a very, very fine tune. You might be just missing it this much. Whereas some people might be missing it this much because they don't want to, they're in that denial phase rather than that acknowledging phase. Okay, acknowledging the pain. This is your challenge card. So this is why if you don't acknowledge what keeps you in pain, in PTSD, into trauma, that kind of thing, how can you? So if you say, if you get out of denial and say, yeah, I really hurt. I had to go through that. I used to act like everything was okay all the time. And my ex-husband was like, you know what? It's okay if things aren't going right or if it's wrong. It's okay, but you always act like everything's okay when it's not. And that is not healthy. And that's very, very true. It's not healthy. It actually wears you down even more and more thin because you're always trying to keep yourself up positive. But when somebody is positive 24/7 all the time, you begin to wonder, they can't be that happy all the time. There is pain in everybody's life. There's struggles in everybody's life. But it's how you handle those struggles and how you work through that pain and how you embrace the pain because you know on the other end is beautiful harmony and that light will show you where to go. All right. I don't know who this is for. I don't know what, but this is just a general reading of the next month, pretty much. I do new moon to full moon, but as the planets show, because we got so many retrogrades happening and we have so many powerful planets moving in and moving slower, the outer planets are moving slower, which means they become more powerful. We really have to look at these planets. You have to look at well, Pluto's the first one that's going to be going into retrograde. When does Pluto? Pluto starts going into retrograde on the 29th, so today. And then what's going to follow after Pluto is Saturn. Ooh, more structure, um, more rules, more strength of systems, that kind of a thing. So you're going to see things become to more stabilized. You're going to see things that want to become more foundational, to more solid. So you've got to get yourself solid so that you can make your relationship solid, and things will all come into play there. So I hope this was helpful. And I hope that you guys have a really good week, a good month. I hopefully will get in here and do another reading shortly. I don't have another day off until Monday, so maybe on Monday I can do readings. But I hope that you enjoy your week, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you watch this far, please just like it. I mean, us YouTube creators, we are small peanuts to a lot of these people, but we like to know that people enjoy our videos. So please like, share, subscribe. And don't forget, I have divinewarriorintuitive.com. There are a lot of videos on my YouTube channel for Divine Warrior for transformation of a negative mindset to a positive mindset, as well as intuitive coaching and spiritual coaching, and also to help you with anything. Please don't hesitate to email me, comment. I would love to hear from you. I help people all over the world and I enjoy it, and it's all free. So I hope you enjoy it. If you are a subscriber, you do get free readings and do coaching. So make sure you subscribe and get yourself a free reading. All right. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. And don't forget to walk in absolute truth and love. Take care now.